Yeah, so this is part 2 of Sophia Stewart. And so if you didn't see the first video, or if you don't know who Sophia Stewart is, Sophia Stewart is a lady from Las Vegas, an author. She's written a book called The Third Eye, and she claims to be the original creator of the Terminator and Matrix franchises. So she claims that in 1981 she wrote this book called The Third Eye, and then Warner Brothers stole her ideas and then split her book, The Third Eye, into 2 separate franchises, and then released these 2 franchises almost a decade apart. So Terminator came out first, then all the sequels, and then The Matrix came out in 99 or 98 or 99, I think it was 99, and then all the sequels for Matrix came out. So she claims that all the motifs, the ideas and concepts that are in the Terminator and the Matrix came from her book, The Third Eye. And so what I want to talk about now is more about her than the lawsuit, because I honestly think she's a fascinating woman. I really do. And I understand, like, this is something else. A lot of people have sued. There's this other YouTuber that made a video about it, but I'll put his video in the description because I can't remember his name right now. But there was another YouTuber that made a video about the Sophia Stewart case and how there's been other people that have sued Warner Brothers claiming that they took the ideas from their work as well. So there's been more than a few people now that have tried to sue Warner Brothers for stealing their ideas. And I'm just saying, it is possible that more than one person could have come up with the same idea or a similar idea, especially when a lot of it is so religious and comes from revelations in the Bible. And a lot of people are inspired by revelations in the Bible. And so I just don't think it's that far-fetched that more than one person could have come up with the same idea. But let's talk about Sophia, the person, for herself for a while, because I really do respect her and think she is very wise, knowledgeable, and creative. I mean, she's written this book, The Third Eye, and it's an amazing work that she has accomplished. And listening to her in interviews is also, I enjoy listening to her perspectives and what she has to say about futurism, sci-fi, religion. It's all interesting. We don't always have to agree on everything. So I'm one of those people where I just enjoy listening or learning what I can from anyone. And I don't have to agree with everything that they say that comes out of their mouth. I can just enjoy listening and taking what I want from it, taking what's useful to me, or what I just happen to enjoy from them. Because you can't possibly go through life and agree with everybody. Not everybody's going to always agree. Even closest friends, family members, these are where you get the biggest disagreements a lot of times. And that's okay. So, yeah, Sophia Stewart. So, something I thought that was really interesting that she said in an interview was about another thing about the John Connor connection to Neo in the Matrix. So in her version of the saga, let's just call it the saga, which includes both the Terminator and the Matrix, in her version, there's Terminator 1. So if you remember Terminator 1 is where the machines send back a Terminator to the past in the 80s to kill Sarah Connor because they hear a prophecy that Sarah Connor is going to have a child who will be the one to take them out in the future. So the humans, so they send back a Terminator killer. The humans send back a human, Kyle Reese, to protect Sarah Connor and to take out the Terminator. And so that's accomplished in Terminator 1. But then in Terminator 2, John Connor is now an adolescent. He's now an adolescent, and he's kind of a troublemaker. He doesn't have a purpose in life yet, and he's lost, and he's just a typical teen angst. And then in the Matrix, the first Matrix, we see Neo, where Neo is a grown-up and he's a hacker. So basically the first Matrix is supposed to be John Connor, who becomes an adult, and then he becomes a hacker. Because if you remember, John Connor always has to live off-grid. In the Terminator movies, John Connor cannot live on grid because the Terminators will find him. So he's always having to do things like construction work. He's like a drifter. If you've seen the third Terminator, you see John Connor as he looks kind of like like he'd be about 19 or 20, early 20s, and he's a drifter. He just drifts from job to job, usually construction, and he has no residence. He's a bum. He's like a vagrant, basically. So that's why. Well, the difference in the Matrix movie was that Neo worked for a corporation in a suit and tie, but in Sophia Stewart's version, Neo was just like a hacker that lives off of grifting and hacking and whatever he could possibly do. He doesn't have a purpose yet. That's the other main thing, is that he's just living, getting by. He hasn't become the great military leader that his mom said that he would become. So the great military leader that he becomes is actually Neo when he finds Morpheus, or when Morpheus finds him. And then he awakens him to the Matrix. And then the other thing is that the Matrix is supposed to be the evolved machines, same world from the Terminators, because you got to remember they come from the future. In Terminator 1, the machine world that the Terminator comes from is in the future. So that future is also the Matrix, where the machines evolve into the Matrix. So then she also wrote a fourth book, a fourth Matrix, and it's called Matrix Evolutions, which is supposed to be different than the fourth Matrix that's out in theaters right now, which is called Matrix Resurrections. The one that's out in theaters is called Matrix Resurrection. But yeah, so Sophia Stewart, she has made these claims, but I also I understand what she's saying too about source material, about how like a movie, when you see a film that's being shot, it all comes from a source work. Oftentimes it's a book or a treatment, but there's usually a source work, and ideas can get lost and not credited. People could get not credited for the work or the ideas that they came up with. And I get what she's saying about all that stuff. So yeah, I don't want to I'm not the judge or jury on her case or her truth or anything. She obviously feels really passionate about this, and so I don't think that she's manipulative or anything like that. I think she just genuinely really feels like they stole her ideas. But like I'm saying, because so many other people have accused them of the same thing, and it's possible for more than one person to have the same idea, that I just don't know myself whether whether that's true or not. But that's not why I am talking about Sophia Stewart. I'm actually just talking about Sophia Stewart because I think I like interesting people. I discovered her and found her to be fascinating. So yeah, that's Sophia Stewart. And if you see the first part of the video on Sophia Stewart, I was just talking about how I talk more about the Terminator and the Matrix, and how those movies, how a lot of the concepts comes from Revelations, and that's how Sophia Stewart came up with her book, The Third Eye, which I still haven't read, and I know she'd be pissed at me if I found out that I was saying all these things and I still haven't even read the book, but I do want to read it. So I also want to read the fourth Matrix that she wrote too. So yeah, anyway, that's Sophia Stewart, and yeah, check her out. She's all over YouTube, and really cool person to listen to.